mentioned to you. The fantasy space brings that out. And we built applications specifically both for the Tournament Challenge, which was great, except in my household, in which my 8-year-old daughter won the bracket this year. I pointed out she will now be the new executive editor at ESPN.com, and I'll be going to 3rd grade. But we did 4.8 million brackets served on our Tournament Challenge. You could check it all, update it all, fill out your bracket right from the iPhone app. And then obviously in the fantasy football space, it just doesn't get any bigger. We've got, that space is anywhere from 17 to 20 million users nationally. We serve more than 3.5 million of those in terms of players on our game, and we serve multiple times that in terms of traffic of users coming to check scores, stats, analysis, and information. So, yeah, we do a lot of stuff, and we've got about 8.7 million downloads overall for iPhone apps. We've got some interesting apps, 500K for the World Cup. The radio app is really cool. It's one of the few premium apps that we launched. We sort of went into the space thinking we were going to generally stay free, but try to pick and choose our spots for when we were going to have premium content. The radio app is a terrific one. You can listen to a live stream of ESPN Radio wherever you are, whenever you are, as long as you got a mobile phone connection on your iPhone. But more than that, you can listen to radio stations from particular markets. We have affiliates in nearly 300 markets across the country. We have owned and operated ESPN radio stations. You can listen to those on your iPhone streamed wherever you are. Unless you're in Nashville. Sorry about that. But you can also get the Pod Center, or you go to get the podcasts. We have about 40 different podcasts we'll talk about. All of them are available for real-time streaming right on the iPhone app through our radio app. The iPad Score Center XL, we launched at a $4.99 price point. That's free on the iPhone. It's $4.99 on the iPad, partly because everybody's still trying to feel out what the space is going to be on the iPad and what the consumer is going to be, what the adoption rate is going to be, what the type of user is going to be, how much they'll pay in that space. But it's also an expanded premium app. It's more than what you get with the iPhone Score Center app.
That's a monthly rate?
That's a one-time fee. That's a one-time fee. So it's just a purchase rate, and the beauty of that one-click purchase on the iPhone and the iPads is pretty tempting. MLB.com, good partners of ours. They've got a live streaming baseball app. I think, don't quote me on this, I think the price is right. I think it's $14.99 to buy their app, and you can tap into their package of live streaming games out of market wherever you are. Again, these devices are wonderfully suited for the sports arena. A couple of key points here. I won't try to bore you with too much data, but as I said, if you look at our traffic patterns, smartphones are about 70% of our total mobile traffic. BlackBerry counts for about 40%, iPhone about 20%, and then Android and Windows phones, make up the rest. As I said, we will have days that we will serve more traffic on our mobile platform than we will on our website. We also have more users on our mobile apps than some other sites have on their websites, from CBS Sports or MTV, NFL.com. It's a big, big audience. We actually represent 70% of the total sports usage in the mobile marketplace. We don't take that for granted. We're obviously always trying to innovate and grow and be better, but we really think we've established a product that users want. And I think this is actually an amazing statistic. Only 51% of our mobile users ever come to ESPN.com in a given month. Got to believe if they're using the mobile application, they're interested in sports. So in theory, what we offer on ESPN.com would be appealing to them. But it underscores the mobility of it and the form factor and the convenience of a mobile device. The ability to consume what you want in a heavy way and in a great frequency at any location that's convenient to you is pretty substantial. This is both an opportunity for us to drive these users and continued use to the website, but frankly, that's less of a concern. If they're happy here, if they're happy in the mobile space, that's where we're going to serve them. Platform agnostic, that's what we're trying to be. All that said, for all those apps and technology and full disclosure, I don't run our mobile department. I'm the executive editor and producer of ESPN.com. I'm sort of in charge of our day-to-day coverage of our events. We have an incredibly brilliant mobile team. John Zayer leads the group that is in charge of building all the apps. Like everyone else, they turned around that iPad app in about a month, and it was phenomenal. But where I spend a lot of my time is creating the content that helps populate all of our platforms. And for us, it still comes down to game changers. I mean, commodity content is actually fairly valuable. I think people sometimes say commodity content, everybody, well, it's, that means it's worthless content. That's not true. Commodity content can be very valuable. But what makes it a commodity is it's available in many places. And so one of the things we try to do is serve commodity content in a better way, in a more efficient way, in a more timely way, and maybe a better form factor than some of our competitors. But really, on top of the commodity content, we try to go to differentiators. And what are the voices? Who are the people? What are the applications? What are the services we can bring to our audience that allows the user making a choice? Because not only is the choice of being one click away on every website, there's now, okay, well, I can get it on my website, or I can get it on my iPhone, or I can get it on my Android phone, or I can get it on my iPad, or any other, multiple devices. Why do they come to us? One of the reasons they come to us is our storytellers. The voices, the analysts, the writers, the anchors, and the talent we bring to the table. We've also invested in, some of you may know, in the last year or so, in taking ESPN to a more localized version. We've launched ESPN Local. It started with ESPN Chicago just about a year ago. We followed up with the launch of ESPN Boston, ESPN Dallas, and ESPN LA at the end of last year. And 2 weeks ago, we launched ESPNNewYork.com. The opportunity there is unique because we had this great content at a national level about each of those cities that we felt like, if you're in Chicago and you wanted to read about the Bulls or the White Sox or the Cubs, you had to sort of follow different sports sections on our site to find it. We thought, well, why don't we just aggregate in that one space for Chicago fans? Seems easy enough to do. And then if we add a little bit more extra content in that space at a local level to really say that we have some sense of authority and veracity in that market, that seems to be a pretty good service for the local fans. But then from a national perspective, where I sit, I've just added 35 to 40 new reporters across the country that are ultimately going to serve ESPN.com. The example I always use is that last summer, Mark Burley pitched a perfect game for the Chicago White Sox. The chance of us having staffed that game nationally for ESPN.com would have been incredibly small. It would have been random if we happened to pick a day that we were going to send one of our national baseball writers to go cover that game. But because of ESPN Chicago, we staffed that game. And not only did we have great coverage of Burley's perfect game on ESPNChicago.com, that same content served the front of ESPN.com nationally. So we sort of inverted the funnel. We're taking content and sort of taking it to the local sites. We're also taking local content and bringing it back up to the national site. Where does this fit in mobile? Well, we're obviously, the opportunity for us, doesn't take much of a leap to say we can build localized versions of the iPhone apps. That here's your ESPNChicago.com app, or here's your ESPNNewYork.com app. We're also considering the same approach with ESPN Insider, which is a premium product that we have as part of our site. Has about 500,000 subscribers. Not a small number, not huge either in comparison. There's certainly more subscription sites that are high.